Welcome to week 4 of English 11. We had a full week this week. All Meet Monday, we started off with a guest speaker, Chelsea Llewellyn, who's my friend. She is a labor and delivery nurse. So if you were gone on Monday, you don't have anything to make up for because it's kind of hard to take notes when you're not present for that. And I can't bring her back in. And I didn't record her talk. So don't worry about Monday. For Tuesday and Wednesday, we started off with some choice reading time, and then we did a grammar lesson on passive and active voice. So, again, with these videos, I'm not going to go through everything in super great detail because I'm not aiming to make these videos as long as the class period was that we had for each of these days. But just going through it briefly. So passive and active voice, the reason we're learning about it is because it helps us understand what the writer is intentionally leaving out when they're communicating a message, which is very important. Active voice is when the subject of the sentence performs the action expressed in the verb. As an example, the boy threw the ball, the scientist conducted the experiments. When we use active voice, we know exactly who is doing the action. When we use passive voice, we are taking you make the object of that action into the subject of the sentence, meaning that the subject that's doing the action is not said or made clear at all. So the ball was thrown, the experiments were conducted, but we don't know by who. So the formula for this, especially for you linear thinkers, you take the form of to be and you add the past participle, and that equals passive voice. So an example of this in a more complex sentence would be for active voice. Research points to heart disease as the leading cause of death in the United States. And you make that passive. Heart disease is considered the leading cause, but we don't know in that version that research is what's pointing to that. So what you do is we have a clip from the movie Ratatouille. You're going to watch the clip, and then on these slides, you're going to take the sentences, and you're going to turn them into passive voice because they're all currently in active voice. So again, you're taking the form of to be and then adding the past participle, which means you add ed or d to the end of the root form of the verb. And an example of this would be Remy distracted the cyclist, now becomes the cyclist was distracted. We're taking away the fact that Remy did it to make it passive. So that's your goal, is to take these and turn them into passive. And then we very briefly had a little introduction to the fact that we are starting a research paper unit. And the goal of this unit is to help you explore and dive deeper into a subject and an idea that you're already fascinated by. I'm going to give you kind of some help and parameters as to how to form that. But really, I want you to pick something that is already interesting to you that you would like to learn more about. And then you're going to craft a research question around that. And then it's also going to give us the time and space to learn how to conduct research and how to put that into a written paper form. So before we actually start writing, the things that we're going to be doing this week and next week is learning about the elements included in a well-organized paper, which that will happen through our writer's workshop notes. We're going to learn how to format an essay using APA format. And then with the help of Ms. Bazzizo, we are going to learn how to research and how to use databases and other sources to do so. So the first thing we're doing, this is Tuesday, Wednesday, and for my 5th period class, I am gone on this day. I have a sub, so if this was confusing, please let me know. This is the difference at a very quick glance between APA and MLA. APA, you have a title page. MLA, you have all your information up here in the top left corner. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a document, which is going to be eventually the paper that you submit to me. And you're going to title it with your first and last name, dash research paper. You're going to share it with me. And then you were going to go into the OWL at Purdue, which I've linked on Canvas, and you're going to make the title page, which essentially looks just like this. And that's all you're doing to end Tuesday and Wednesday. And then on Thursday and Friday, we are starting off with some more reading time. We have a journal entry. This one is all about your Roman Empire. So if you're unfamiliar, there's a trend going around on the internet, specifically TikTok, where women are asking the men in their life how often they think about the Roman Empire, and apparently men think about it quite often. And so it's just, we're kind of going off this little trend. So what is something that you're passionate about, something that you think about often? What is something that captivates your attention? Describe that one thing in detail, why you love it and why it fascinates you, and you'll do that on this slide. And then, as I said, we're going to be kind of doing some pre work. So, this is our first installment of Writer's Workshop Notes. We are going to watch the Barbie trailer and the Oppenheimer trailer. And as you do so, you're going to take notes on these things that you see here in the middle: music, scene cuts, colors, body language, dialogue lines, specific characters, to try to compare and contrast. And the reason we're doing this, once you do that and fill that out, um, we notice that the directors make very specific choices as to how they want to portray the movie in the trailer. And then the second question we're asking ourselves as after we're watching the trailers is, what is the point of a movie trailer? Why do we watch and create them? Well, the movie trailer, other than just to advertise the movie so that people go see it, is to give people a preview as to what that story is all about. I highly doubt that you would go to a movie theater, pay money, sit down, and not know exactly what you're watching. You want to know before you go and sit down for 2 hours or 3 hours, which is basically what a thesis statement does. It gives you a little preview as to what you're going to expect throughout the movie, but it's definitely not nearly as long as the movie itself. So we took some notes on this, learning about thesis statements and kind of what it does, what not to do. And then we looked at some examples of good ones versus bad ones. So then we also took some notes on introductions. This is another form of Writer's Workshop notes. We learned that an introduction is the first impression, very similar to that with like a movie trailer. It's the first impression. It's what you remember and what gets your attention. An introduction is comprised of a hook, background information, and thesis, and it appears in this order. Trying to captivate your audience's attention is extremely difficult, especially when we live in a day and age of just instant gratification and everybody's attention spans being like 5 seconds. So hooking your reader is really, really important, and this is a list of different ways that you can do that. And then we learned how to avoid boring introductions by avoiding these things and what they are, given some bad examples that go with them. And then we took a quick glance at some more examples of introductions broken down into hook, background info, and thesis. And then lastly, we learned some other tips and tricks to kind of help us with writing our introduction and being successful in that. And then I had you end class by writing on a piece of paper 10 things that interest you. This is the very beginning process of us trying to brainstorm to come up with our eventual topic and question, which we are going to do more so in week 5. If you have any questions about this week, please let me know.